Hey guys, this is Ollie from Team Liquid here. At HomeStory Cup 10 with Kane, who may or may not have been drinking before this interview. I'm going to ask him a couple of questions about his new teammate, Rain, about changes coming to WCS next year, and then maybe about some Legacy of the Void stuff. First of all, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. I got knocked out of the tournament relatively early, but I'd rather be knocked out on the first day because the rest of the time is pretty relaxing for me. I get to have some fun, socialize, and just, you know, kind of play with the crowd a little bit, do some casting, stuff like that.
You had a really tough group, didn't you? You had... Who did you get?
I got Teja, Saxry, and Bling. Of course, Teja and Saxry were the favored ones to get out of that group. And they lived up to the expectations. I could have played better, but even if I did play better, I don't know if it would be enough to beat those two. But I wasn't too happy with my play, but I kind of mentally prepared myself before this tournament, and I knew there was a chance I could get knocked out early. So I'm not disappointed, and I'm just having a good time overall.
Okay. Overall, though, recently you've had a couple of pretty good results. You've been doing impressively in tournaments, and a lot of people have actually been mentioning you as a player they're going to look out for in 2015 as somebody they see perhaps doing well in the joint Premier League. What do you think it's going to take to get to that next level where you can actually beat these guys?
I think at this point I'm still relatively new to the tournament scene itself, at least offline tournaments. I tend to get quite nervous during these events, and I think it shows a bit in my play. I'm not sure if that's a valid excuse at this point because I have played probably 3 or 4 different offline tournaments, but I think it will still take some more time for me to get really comfortable in this kind of environment. And I think it just comes down to more practice, keeping up my game, and just being comfortable, not getting so nervous.
Okay, speaking of practice, your team, mYi, recently signed a new player, one of the biggest Protoss players out there in Rain. How much does that affect your practice? Do you actually practice with your teammates a lot, or do you mainly practice through ladder and stuff?
So I think, and I've said this before, but I think a big misconception that the community has is that a lot of pro teams and the players within it practice together a lot. Whereas I think with most pro teams, that's not really the case. At least in my Insanity, we do practice somewhat together, but the large majority of our practice is done on ladder. If we're preparing for a specific matchup or a specific game, we will practice with each other, but most of the time it's just on ladder. So even though Rain joined the team, he will be staying in Korea because of the WCS changes that are coming up. We'll talk about that in a bit. But for now, I think it won't impact my practice too much at this point. I mean, he's a great player, and he'll be in our Skype chat, so if I have any questions, I think I can probably ask him, or even if his English isn't that good, I can get a translator. But for the most part, my practice won't be impacted.
I see. Now we've kind of gotten into the topic of WCS 2015. About the joint Premier League for Europe and the other regions, how much do you think that's going to affect you as a player, and how much do you think it's going to affect the scene overall?
For me, it won't affect me. I'm at this point, I'm really confident against most foreigner players, European and NA included. So I mean, if I just play my game, I'm pretty confident. For the scene itself, I think we'll kind of have to see what comes of it. To be honest, I'm a relatively new person to esports, new person to the scene, relatively speaking. So I don't think I'm very qualified to speak about what's good for the scene and what's not good for the scene. I'm just really interested to see how it plays out. Okay, cool.
Obviously, the biggest thing in recent news has been Legacy of the Void has been announced last weekend at BlizzCon. And a lot of people have reacted positively to the changes they're going to make. How do you feel about these?
I mean, I like what Blizzard's doing. They're making it more of a skill-based game in terms of micro, in terms of little control issues and stuff like that. So I really like the direction that they're going in. I know that at the beginning when they announced Heart of the Swarm, a lot of things changed from when they announced it to when the game was actually released. Like, a lot of stuff changed. I almost want to say the majority of the things. So I'm not getting my hopes up too much right now. I'm just continuing practicing and focusing on that. I've always been very passionate about the game. I know that's a bit cliche, but I've been very passionate, and so I just play the game and I practice as hard as I can. And I mean, I won't practice any more, any less because of Legacy. I won't change anything in my practice routine. I'll just keep on going as I am.
Okay. But if you did have to pinpoint one change that they're making that excites you the most, which would it be?
The economy change. And I know that's something a lot of people in the past, or not in the past, but recently have been very excited about and very curious about as well. I think it encourages more mobility around the map, more multitasking, stuff like that, more expansions, quicker. It discourages stuff like mech play, stuff like Turtle Swarm hosts, a lot of more boring stuff like that. I really enjoy play like that, but I know the large majority of the community does not. So despite that, yeah, I'm pretty excited.
Okay, cool. I'm sure you've heard of the 2 Korean tournaments, which are going to be open to foreigners. Do you actually think that any foreigners would consider perhaps competing in Korea?
That's a hard question to answer. I think those who aren't concerned about money, which happens to not be a lot of foreigners really want money as well as Koreans. I mean, it's just a natural thing to want, right? So I think people who aren't concerned a lot with that, people like State who are already in Korea, I think we might see some players go over to Korea, but I would say not many.
Okay, cool. The serious question part is now over.
Sure.
I've got a couple of questions from the Team Liquid writing staff that I was told to ask people. The first of these is the president of your country has a beautiful daughter.
Prime Minister.
Prime Minister. Okay, sorry. Has a beautiful daughter who has been abducted by pirates.
Okay.
And he only trusts you. And you feel very obligated to help him.
Okay.
But you can only pick 3 pro players to go with you on that quest to save her.
Okay.
Who do you pick and why?
Do I have to pick 3 players, or can it just be myself?
No, you have to pick.
That's a really good question. Harston has been gaining a lot of muscle rate lately. He's been making a lot of gains. So he'd be my backup for sure. I would probably pick a French player like Little Bao in case we needed to surrender. And the last player. That's a tough one. Maybe, does Madalisk count as a pro?
Yeah.
I would bring Madalisk because maybe they'd take some mercy on us. You know, female pro gamer, you know. I know that's a bit sexist, but it's the way it is. It's the way the world works, and if you deny that, then you're an idiot, so whatever.
Yeah, because they already abducted the Prime Minister's daughter.
I mean...
They obviously have a thing for girls.
That's a good point, but I'm sticking with my choice. Maybe they don't know who Madalisk is and they don't want to hurt her or abduct her and they just feel bad for her. I know that's sexist, but that's the way I think. We're going to go with that.
Okay, yeah, we're going to move on from here. Sorry. The other one would be between a crocodile in a bumper car and an 8-foot baby throwing a temper tantrum. Which would you rather do battle with and why?
What's the second one, a bumper car?
A crocodile in a bumper car.
In a bumper car?
In a bumper car, yes.
Or an 8-foot baby. I don't handle children well. I don't like children. I've always been an animal guy. I think I could pull some Steve Irwin shit and maybe calm the crocodile down. In the bumper car, of course. Yeah, I would choose the crocodile. I think that's an obvious choice. Nobody likes children.
Really?
Yeah. Why would you like children? They're messy, they cry, they complain. There's nothing good about children. Like, everybody who has children hates babies. They just say, oh yeah, the good stuff comes later, right? But nobody loves waking up at 3 in the morning cleaning up a diaper full of shit or piss, right?
That's true, but then if you hate babies, wouldn't that kind of motivate you to fight against one?
Yeah, but then you're hitting a child. It's like hitting a woman. That's why I would bring Metalisk. You can't do that shit.
I mean, your life does kind of depend on it, because otherwise the baby would crush you.
The baby wouldn't know how to fight. It's a baby. You just push it over. It has such a big body, wouldn't know what to do with it. It's like a baby the size of Shaquille O'Neal. What would you... There's no way. There's no way that a baby 8 foot tall could take me. I would just pull some jujitsu shit and knock it down. Use its own force against me or something, you know? Toss it over my shoulder. It wouldn't know.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense, I guess. Other people have answered differently.
They're idiots.
So, yeah.
They don't know anything. They don't know anything. You don't fight a baby. You fight a crocodile, like a man.
Okay. So you fight a crocodile. Yeah, I guess that's going to end the interview. Do you have any shout-outs to sponsors and people you like, maybe?
That last question just aggravated me. Who would choose a baby? Why would you hit a baby? Despite being 8 foot tall, why would you hit a baby? What's the difference between an 8 foot tall baby and a baby that's a little bit overweight when it's born, right? There's no difference. Why would you hit a baby? I mean, okay. Shout outs to My Insanity. Great team, great family. They're cool guys. And our sponsors, Logitech, Bison, or Bison if you're from America. Logitech, I think I said that. And World of CD Keys, which we recently got sponsored by. Big shout out to Rich doing the camera work, and you. And yeah, big shout out to Take TV for the invite, getting that dirty esports money, so that's quite nice. Well, I didn't get any this tournament, but it's coming. It's coming, especially with the WCS changes. I'll be rolling in it. So yeah, I got a down payment on a new house already. Bought a new car for myself just the other day. It's free money. It's good.
Yeah, that's what I would do. This has been Ollie from Team Liquid.
Ollie. Shout out to Ollie.
Signing out.